U.S. intelligence officials have delivered a chilling assessment. Russian President Vladimir Putin's war aims in Ukraine remain unchanged, despite years of conflict and ongoing peace negotiations. According to multiple U.S. sources, Moscow's objectives still go beyond a frozen frontline, pointing to ambitions to capture all of Ukraine and even reclaim territories from the former Soviet sphere. These classified assessments, circulating within Washington's intelligence community, paint a picture of a Kremlin leader undaunted and unwavering, holding fast to goals that have shaped Europe's bloodiest war in decades.
Our colleagues in Washington, citing sources within American intelligence, have published quite an extensive report about the supposedly existing plans of the Russian president, for restoring the Soviet Empire, attacking Eastern European countries, and reestablishing the Soviet Union's sphere of influence in Europe, essentially.
So have you had the opportunity to review this material, and how would you be able to comment on these particular assertions made by the sources?
First of all, we don't know how reliable they are. That's the first thing. We have indeed seen some scattered reports regarding this, but even if this were to correspond to reality, then it would fall into the category of a situation where intelligence makes some erroneous reasonings, investigations, and conclusions. This absolutely does not correspond to reality.
But Moscow has struck back with fury. The Kremlin has dismissed the very idea that Putin wants to seize all of Ukraine or territory beyond, calling the U.S. intelligence perception absolutely not true. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov accused the U.S. report of misrepresenting Putin's intentions, insisting Moscow does not seek war with Europe or aspirations to restore the Soviet Union. Not only Ukraine, but President Vladimir Putin also assured NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte during his year-end press conference that Russia doesn't intend war with the West. This after Rutte said that there was a need for the West to prepare for a military confrontation with the Russian Federation.
Why is such a policy being carried out, as you described it, a reckless one? I was just trying to explain that. In response to the question from your colleague at the BBC. Because it is with this that they are trying to cover up their mistakes in the sphere of both foreign policy and economics and finance and so on and so forth. This is what I believe. Yes, it is precisely with this, firstly. Secondly,
the second thing is this. We've fallen into, so to speak, a very deep rut, as the common expression goes.
Now regarding the roads and the off-road conditions, we've entered a deep rut and it's already quite difficult to turn either left or right. As for the conflicts with the President of the United States, there is absolutely nothing unexpected, nothing surprising here. What exactly is so surprising about it? For me, everything is perfectly clear.
I think that for any observer, even a non-specialist, everything is clear. European political elites supported the Democratic Party, Ms. Harris, in the United States presidential elections. They did this quite frankly, if not Cherokee, if not outright, brazenly. They once accused Trump of Russia interfering in the elections, but nothing was ever confirmed. All the investigations in Congress led to absolutely nothing. There was no cooperation, no Russian interference whatsoever. But Europe's political elites interfered, and they directly interfered.
It was absolutely evident, clearly discernible, and unmistakably unconcealed. It seems to me that even now they're counting on the fact that after the midterm elections for the US Congress next autumn, the political landscape will undergo some changes and their traditional allies will re-emerge, allowing them to apply more significant pressure on President Trump.
That is why they are behaving in such a manner, pause awaiting shift in the political landscape of the United States, pause as the congressional elections draw near, pause, that's all, pause. But
regarding individual actors or figures,
It seems to me that they really behave quite aggressively, not even very reasonably. Professionally, I look at them and I'm also quite surprised myself. I, for example, am personally acquainted with the current NATO Secretary General, Mr. Rutte, right? He is the former Prime Minister of the Netherlands. I once went there for a visit, and we had a good conversation. He's a very intelligent man. I know he was a smart, systematic, and truly effective Prime Minister. Yes, very effective. The economy of the Netherlands is currently in excellent condition. And that is certainly part of his significant achievements. Well, but what on earth is he talking about now? I just want to ask, Lissi, what are you saying about war with Russia? We need to prepare for war with Russia. They want to prepare for war with Russia. Well, can you even read the new US national security strategy? What does it say? The US, I'd like to point out, is a key NATO player. The US is NATO's founder, its chief sponsor. All main funds come from the US, both money, military technology, weapons, and ammunition. All of it comes from there. This is the foundation in the new security strategy, NATO's national security strategy. Russia is not designated as an enemy, a designated adversary, as a target, a direct and undeniable target. No? And the NATO Secretary General, he is quite openly preparing us for a full-scale war, a direct confrontation. What in the world is this? Well, can you even read? How can you possibly be aiming NATO at a war with Russia if the leading nation of NATO itself doesn't consider us an adversary or an enemy? It's simply, I don't even know how to put it. The level of professional training for this role is inadequate. You need to be attentive to your responsibilities and look around. This applies not only to the Secretary General, but also to many others.
Of the Western leaders.
Even as peace talks continue, the question lingers. Is Putin's long-term strategy about dominating all of Ukraine and possibly more? Or is this all a misreading of intentions amid the fog of war? As diplomats debate and negotiators gather around the table, the world watches, uncertain, uneasy, and on edge. Because in a war defined by contested narratives, the truth itself has become a front line.